Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel. As far as our aim to keep as much out of landfill as possible, one of the best things we can do is repair stuff rather than throw it out. It's not always viable, but if you like to tinker at home, you can save a lot of stuff from going to landfill. This one is a large size toaster, and the complaint, it's got lots of crumbs in it. The customer complaint is that the lever won't stay down, and as you can see from there, it's not staying down. However, these just don't have a mechanical catch. They usually have a set of points that when you pull this lever down, it connects a couple of contacts, and that enables it to stay down. But I believe this one won't stay down anyway, so it could well be the contacts. I'm not sure if it's going to be an easy fix. We're going to try and get into it somehow, and as a bonus, it will get a nice clean out. Let's see if we can fix it. Okay, we'll plug it into the appliance tester. Make sure it's safe, of course. It tests okay. Let's make sure there's an earth. And yes, it has a good earth, so that's okay. It's working fine. Well, it's safe anyway. Now let's see if it actually operates. No. And the cancel light down the bottom comes on. Sometimes you can actually, if it's a bad contact, yeah, there you go. So I think it's just some dirty contacts in there. That's working. Is it warming up? Yes, it appears to be both sides. So the cancel button should release that. Yep, so that's working okay. It's just that it's only on a random event, or if you push a bit harder, that it actually stays down, which is annoying. And a lot of people would throw this toaster out thinking that it's worn out or it's not worth fixing. Probably on commercial repair rates, it's not worth fixing, but we're going to do it anyway. So let's turn off the power, unplug the thing. We'll get a towel on the bench and we'll try and pull the cover off. I would imagine it's probably got some screws somewhere. We're also going to have a large pile of breadcrumbs when we're finished. Now, it's possibly even got security screws. No, they're all Phillips heads. That's good. Well, at least they allow us to get into it easily. Okay, it's cooled down a bit now. We're probably going to have to remove these knobs. Will that pull off? Yep. And this one. Oh, it's going to put up a fight, is it? All right, well, maybe we'll leave that there in case it doesn't have to come off. I don't want to start prying away in case we scratch things up. Let's get some screws out. Okay, now does the bottom come off? It does. Oh, there's a crumb tray this end, which we probably should have taken out first. Oh, there's some more screws under there. And they are security screws. I'm sure you get a good look at them, but they're little triangle ones. I think I've got some of those in my kit. Okay, let's see if this one works. Yep. I don't really get the point of security screws, because you can go off and buy a security screw bit set. And really, what's the point? To keep people out of things and stop them repairing them? Okay, I think we'll put normal screws back in there. All right, now, are we getting anywhere? Okay. Oh my God, there's about half a loaf of bread in here. Now, why won't that come out? I have a little control board this end, but it's mounted to the casing. Aha, there we go. All right, there we go. We've got into it. We didn't even need to... Oh, that's an earth wire. We can unplug the earth. And there is a little plug onto the bottom of this control board. Very good. Gives us a chance to clean that up. Have a look at all the crumbs. Crumbs, one might say. Goodness. I don't think I'll spread that around my workshop. I'll get too many mice in here. So there's a fair chance that the crumbs may have been mucking things up. Where these contacts work. Yes. All right. So that's the part we need to look at. This little V section here slides down. I'm not sure you're going to see this or not. Slides down and pushes a couple of terminals across. One this side and one the other side. And once they're connected, the power then, I think, energizes a little solenoid, which becomes magnetic, and then it holds onto this part. So that effectively, that top plate there has a metal plate under it. It sticks to the solenoid once the contacts are made here. All right, so that should be pretty easy to fix, because I think half the trouble is all the crumbs. It looks very oily on that. I know it's supposed to slide through the contacts, but the oil has also caused lots of debris to stick through it. But it's probably we're going to have to get in there and just clean those contacts, I think, as well. We'll take this little board out. I think it just clips in, does it? Yeah, a couple of clips on the bottom there. And there we go. We've still got quite a lot of wires on here. These ones will actually unplug. These are the mains wires. Okay, we'll get those unplugged. Oh, that one's tight. That's got it. It's nice that they unplug. I think that's a sign of a better quality made toaster. Well, anything really. The cheaper ones tend not to unplug very easily because they're not really designed for service. Okay, we'll get a little close-up of this if we can. Okay, here's our mechanism. When that plastic plunger comes down through here, it spreads those two bottom legs apart, and one contact connects on that side and one connects on that side, and that's what energizes this solenoid to turn it into a magnet, and it holds the whole carriage down until your toaster's cooked. So that's how it works. So we'll just make sure these are clean. We'll get rid of all the debris in here, and that's really all we're going to need to do. I'm just cleaning these up with some IPA on a cotton bud. I should mention that one of the contacts here probably energizes the solenoid. The other one probably supplies power to the circuitry, which has a timer, and also there's relays to turn on the heating elements. So it's a multi-function switch, all operated by a plastic wedge that just pushes these together. So I'm going to clean it up a bit more just with the IPA to get rid of all the old grease off here. I will be applying some new clean grease, but only just on the contact points. It doesn't need to be spread everywhere. And the terminals themselves, the contacts, I'm only going to clean up with probably some IPA as well for a start to make sure there's no oil or grease on them. And then I'm just going to use some deoxit, which helps clean up oxidation, improves connections, and I think it's a better way to clean up contacts and get rid of the carbon deposits on them, because if you try and file them or touch them with a bit of sandpaper, you're going to be removing a layer of silver off the button, and it's such a fine layer of silver because the actual button itself is probably just copper, and if you sand away the silver top layer, then these will arc a lot more and it will probably play up again in the future fairly quickly. The other thing I'm going to do is probably just bend these arms a little bit at the top here so that there's a little bit more tension on them, and they'll push across a bit more positively when the thing is actuated. All right, I'll keep cleaning this up. I'll be back with you shortly. So that's pretty good now. We'll get some deoxit spray onto the contacts, and we'll use a clean cotton bud just to give those contacts a bit of a rub. Should get rid of any of the oxidation. So there's buttons on both these legs and the parts they connect to. And they use silver on these because it's a really good electrical connector or conductor, and you have less chance of arcing if it makes a positive connection straight away. And of course, when you get arcing, you get a lot of carbon and oxidization building up, which causes problems. All right, so they're pretty clean. I'm happy with that. Let's get some needle nose pliers, and we'll just probably bend the bottom of the leg just a whisker so that it connects a little bit earlier in its travel. All right, they should make pretty good connection now. So that's really all we have to do, except for clean the rest of the toaster up, get all the breadcrumbs out of it. I think I'll use the air compressor, and we'll put it back together. We'll give the top cover a bit of a polish up, and oh, we've got to put some grease on there yet too. Assembly is going well. It's cleaned up very nicely. I did remove the toaster body from the base just to make sure I got it nice and clean. I've just put some grease on the little wedge here that drives down in between those contact brackets, so only where it's required. A little bit on that shaft where the springs operate. Seems to function quite smoothly now. So that's all good. All we need to do really is clean up the top cover. I'm going to give it a bit of a polish so the thing looks a bit nicer, and then just put it back together and test it. In amongst my stash of cleaning products that I save out of other people's sheds when I'm doing cleanups, I found this stainless and aluminium polish. It's called Metal. I think this is an older tin of it, but you can still buy it new. And I just did one little section on the toaster, and have a look at how nicely this front section cleaned up. That was had a little bit of burnt material like the center, and it's cleaned it up very nice and didn't take much at all. So I think I'll polish the rest of it up. It'll look fantastic, and the customer will be most impressed. Okay, I've polished it up. It came up pretty good. At the moment it's still a little waxy and it leaves fingerprints, but I think if I give it a buff with a dry cloth, it will actually sparkle like a new one. So this stuff isn't bad. I'll be using that again. All right, I've assembled the rest of the toaster. I've put some replacement Phillips head screws in there to get rid of the old security ones. So there we go. Job's right. We'll spin it over, give it a final buff, and of course a test run. And it's looking like a brand new one other than the smudges here, but I'm sure that'll buff off just with as I said, a dry cloth, because I was just trying to clean it up with the cloth that I was polishing in, and of course it's got polish all over it, so I kept smearing it on there. But job should be finished. How's that look, guys? Just like a brand new one. You can see the reflection of my hand. It's a sort of a brushed finish, but it's shiny chrome on top. Now, it looks like a new one, but does it perform? We have it powered up through the appliance tester. Perfect. First go. The mechanism still feels a little clunky, but I think that's just the design of it. Cancel. So that seems to be working. Fantastic. I can send this back to the customer and they'll feel like they've got a brand new toaster. And how much to charge for a toaster repair job? Well, absolutely nothing, because it belongs to my daughters. It's from their cafe, and I said, yeah, don't throw it out and buy a new one. Let's fix this one. So toasters generally wouldn't be commercially viable to repair if you took them to a repair shop. Most repair shops would say throw it out and buy a new one. But why not have a go yourself? As you can see, they're not hard to fix. This one now should perform, and it certainly looks like a new one. So job's done. Time-wise, took me longer to clean it up and polish it than what it actually took to do the job. So under half an hour. It certainly, I forgot to mention the brand. It's a Smith & Noble. I'm not sure how expensive they were to buy new, but it's not badly made, and it's easy enough to get into to service it, which is good. So there we go, a repaired toaster, going back to the cafe to cook some more toast. Thanks for watching, guys. Another repair video done and dusted. Catch you in the next one. Bye for now.